a game, but it is absolutely not. Okay, this is the energy supplement from Just Move Supplements. That's right, it's damn near all gone, girl, and that's because I had to get that energy up so I can complete the workout, so I can give y'all this body, this transformation. Listen here, girl. I know you think it's a game, but it is absolutely not. Okay, this is the energy supplement from Just Move Supplements. That's right, it's damn near all gone, girl, and that's because I had to get that energy up so I can complete the workout, so I can give y'all this body, this transformation, get into it. Okay, and I'm done working out now, so that's why we're moving on to the protein shake. Oh yes, it's already in there, girl. It's already made right here. This is the mixture of the banana pudding, the chocolate cake, and the buttercream cupcake. And you really want to be fancy, you can go ahead and add that blueberry muffin if that's what you want to do, girl. But for me, it's these three right here. Okay, you put that with some almond milk, you mix it all up in honey. Okay, your muscles have gained life, new energy, agility. Get into it, okay? Just Move Supplements. Thank you very much. Hold up, Chief. Okay, don't forget about that TLC NutriBurst to get that multivitamin popping, because we all need a little extra. And child, if you want that sea moss that go down smooth, don't come up rough, okay? Get into the TLC Nautica sea moss. Yes, get that from me. And child, if your stomach hurt and you need to move some things around so you can be free, okay, go ahead and get that ISO tea down below in the description box. Get it all from me. Come on in, come on in, come on in, not come on in, not come. Sorry, y'all know I'm weird, whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. So let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue, and I am back on this good Monday so that we can finish up our conversation about the Ultimatum. Okay, y'all know, because I review so many shows, I'm not like everybody else that can just kind of like sit and binge watch any old show at any given time and just get through it quickly and then have like, no, it's just not gonna happen like that. I have to watch it, and then it's like, okay, I'll review it once I have enjoyed it. For instance, girl, I binge watched Bridgerton this weekend. The second season, girl, it was good. It was good. I was into it. It was what I needed on a Sunday. It was what I needed on a Sunday, girl. All right. So, hi. I'm like blown out from my window. I need to sleep in here. Don't judge us. We actually just finished putting the bed together. I would spin it around and show y'all, but we still getting it together in here. So, like, don't judge the foam on the ground from the box. Don't judge me. I'm still getting my studio together, but at least the bed is built now. I don't want to show y'all because I don't have it's not cute yet. I gotta put sheets on it and stuff, but that's what me and Lyric were in here doing yesterday, putting this bed together for in here, girl. So as soon as I have it all cute, then I'll like position myself so it can be seen singing in the background. Yeah. Okay, but it's not ready yet. I'm cute, but the room ain't ready. Okay, but either way, hold up, give me a second. Okay, I had to scream really loudly for Lyric to come up here and sweep. Because we almost slept in here last night. We put the mattresses down and was in this bitch watching TV. Okay. So when is Netflix going to run on their coins? Because Ultimatum is put a ring on it. It is, but I almost feel like it's a better concept with us seeing more from the couples. You know what I'm saying? But I still feel like it's all the ways around basically the same show. So let's go ahead and get into my notes, y'all, because we have to get into Candy and the Gang and Real Housewives of Atlanta after this, because baby, girl, Real Housewives of Atlanta was good. I was proud. I was like, oh my God, you guys, this first episode is good. Because when I tell y'all I was not excited, I didn't give a fuck. I was just kind of like, all right, girl, it's time to go to work. So let's sit down and watch Real Housewives of Atlanta and see what they gave, girl. Like it was that energy, to be honest. Because at this point, it sometimes feels like, What else can be given? Y'all been trying to buck our head up, for the past year that this season is going to be the season, that we're all doing things differently now. And I was just like, girl, I need to see it to believe it. And then I noticed that Candy was being a little extra vocal. And then I noticed that Kenya's reads had me cackling. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm enjoying this. And then Marlo in her excitement, girl, the way Andy and them playing in Marlo's face, you finally got your peach. As we're on its 14th season and damn near about to be on the outs. Like show about to be over if they don't make some changes out this bitch. And now y'all won't give a bitch a peach. Okay. And it's just like, oh my God, I'm so happy. Like, I just would be like, thank you, thank you. I would be happy to have it, but I don't know if I would be showing the excitement or allowing them to play with me the way it seemed like they playing with Marlo. Like, you happy now? You finally have what everybody else has. Are you happy now? Like, it almost seems condescending. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But either way, we'll talk about all of that in the next live. So let's just get into the ultimatum. Okay. And then this is my warm up to get me vocally ready for Real Housewives. Okay. Because Real Housewives y'all gonna be upset this season. Huh? Y'all gonna be mad because I feel like I already see where we going with this. But anyway, so let's start off with episode 6 of the ultimatum. So I basically kind of watched the episodes and put the notes together. Some are more specific and other ones are a little bit more just kind of like, this is what happened. Okay. So just fuck with me for a minute, this podcast form type situation, because ultimately, I need Larry to come and sweep up in here first before I take this camera, put this camera back on. And plus I didn't make a smaller graphic, and this graphic is really cute. So I need for us to be able to see everybody. Okay. So all the couples sit down with Nick and Vanessa so that they can discuss their experience being with other people for 3 weeks. Colby and April go first, and he says that he learned a lot about how to listen. I mean, he couldn't really help it because April wouldn't stop talking, so he was kind of forced to learn how to listen. Whereas I feel like Madeline will like totally just disengage, like I'm not going to say she does not challenge him, but she does not challenge him for him to be better in their relationship. She challenges him because that's what she does. She's going to challenge you. That's what she's going to do. That's her lot in life. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to have a problem. I'm going to complain. Okay. It doesn't matter what's going on. I'm going to find a way to have a problem, to have an issue, because that's what I do. Because I'm like Karen in her 30s. So wait till I get in my 50s and I'm full blown Karen and I'm in your neighborhood and you're annoying me. Like, it's going to be really annoying. Like, that's what Madeline's giving. I'm sorry. That's what Madeline is giving, but I don't always disagree with her. We're going to move on. We're going to get into some things. Okay. So Colby says that he felt as if April really grew as a woman during this process. And, she also felt that way. But I was with Madeline when Madeline was like, how did she become a woman during this process with you? Like, what does that even mean? She became a woman with you. Like, give me a break. Learn the lesson. Understood something that was not clear prior. Absolutely. Absolutely. But becoming a woman because of a 3-week process with a dude who's not even that into you, girl, bye. Boy, bye. I'm not subscribing. And I absolutely felt like Madeline in that moment where it was like, give me a break. Okay. Give me a break. Okay. So Madeline is exasperated and perplexed by such an audacious statement. And April tells Madeline that Colby adores the hell out of her and to be happy that he gave her the ultimatum. Okay. They move on to Jake, in which I feel like April, I wish April would stop being so like April is, I'm going to act thirsty. And then when you point out that I'm acting thirsty, I'm going to be like, what? I don't need this. I'm April. I don't have April doesn't need to deal with this. April doesn't need to be here. April doesn't need to, she'll then act as if she's not the person being taken advantage of. But her relationship with Jake seems like she was getting things out of it, but she still seemed to be the one who had her shit together. Like when we were talking to Colby's mom, it seemed as if April was the one that had her shit together and kind of helped him get his shit together. She's the type A person in this relationship. Not him. So the fact that she, often takes this almost submissive, role, or just this attitude is just very weird to me, because it's like she goes back and forth between, I want to be powerful, and I am one, hear me roar, and then at the same time it's like, but he bought me a car and I wanted a baby, and I grew as a woman with him. Like, it's April is very contradictory to me. Okay. She definitely is in tune and has moments when she's spot on, when she's calling shit out. But ultimately, I feel like she's all over the place. And I think she needs to mature in the way she communicates, in order for her to be the grown woman that she walked away from this experience like she was. Because I don't know if you really are that person, if you're still giving another man the giving him the credit for you becoming a woman. Like, that just seems like a bit much for me. But either way, they move on to Jake and Ray. The experience was really positive for both of them. Like, that's really, like, Ray says nothing. Ray never really says anything. She just sits there looking like a wounded baby bird. And honestly, do y'all notice that she had the same discomfort in her shoulders and in her body that Randall did? Because see, here's the thing. Everybody is going to act like it is this huge assault to someone's character to point out that they may be having a hard time admitting to themselves what their sexuality actually is. But it's not. It's really not. It's just a fact of the society that we live in, that because people are homophobic and because people are racist and because we live in a society that we do live in, if Randall does not fit into the criteria of what people think he's supposed to fit into, it can be very hard for him to be honest with himself about who he is if that does not fit how everybody else feels he should be. And the reason why I say that is because, to me, nobody was pointing out how much Randall was like Ray. Nobody pointed that out to me. They really allow for Randall to kind of go through this process with constantly putting the onus on the woman in some respect. It was never really about work he needed to do. He was the one that didn't want to get married, but it was never about him. It was never about what he needed to fix. It was always about how he could not communicate with the women that he was in relation with. Oh, I couldn't communicate with Shanique. She doesn't listen. Oh, I couldn't communicate with Madeline. When ultimately, a lot of the times when women feel like you're talking but not saying anything, they no longer want to hear you talk and not say anything. So they interrupt you and they don't have patience for what you're saying, because they know that whatever you're saying is not necessarily the truth and it's not any real accountability, and they're not getting what they need from the conversation. So they don't want to hear what you have to say. To me, Randall is uncomfortable in his body, for one. To me, the way he constantly had his shoulders up to his ears made me feel that way. And then whenever he was asked to vocalize what it was that whenever he was asked to vocalize what was his issue, it was always him saying the same shit. So when Ray at the end of the show comes out as bisexual, and seeing that she was so uncomfortable in her body, that was a part of why she was so uncomfortable, is because she was not being honest with herself about who she really was and what she wanted. And she's being kind of forced to make a decision with a man that she knows she doesn't really want to be with, but it's even deeper than that. And she doesn't want that to come out because she hasn't really dealt with that like that. Like, she hasn't dealt with the fact that, yes, I might have been in relationships with women. I might have had a sexual encounter with a woman, but now I'm having sex with a man damn near every day. And I don't know if that's really what I want, but I'm doing it because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I feel like, just like Ray was going through those motions, I feel like Randall was probably going through the same thing, but because he is a Black male, he will not be given the space to do that and it be seen the same way. Like, if Randall comes out as someone that's struggling with his sexuality while Shanique is trying to marry him, it will come out as if he betrayed her in some way, instead of him just not being able to figure out who he was in the time frame that he was in the relationship with her. But something makes me feel like Randall is at odds with himself, And instead of being honest about how he's at odds with himself, he's going to make it about Shanique's childishness and her not allowing him to communicate. When really, I feel like nobody stops anybody who really wants to communicate from communicating. Usually when men say shit like "you won't let me talk," that's passive aggressive. For I want you to just shut up and listen to what I'm saying and not give anything. Like, I don't want you to say anything. Like, I don't want you to say anything. I want you to just go along with what I'm saying. Like, in my experience, whenever people are saying to you, "you're not letting me talk," and then they spend a great amount of time talking about how you're not allowing them to speak, even though they are in fact speaking, but not using that time to actually talk about what we're talking about, like Otis did on Put a Ring on It. I notice men do that a lot. "Oh, you're not letting me talk. I'm a gaslight you." And then when you have a rebuttal, because I know I've said something that's untrue and that you are going to want to, give a response to immediately, I'm going to then act as if you're not giving me the space to communicate. So now that I have not communicated truthfully, I can blame you for it because you didn't give me the space to do so. That's bullshit to me. Anybody that can talk can vocalize how they feel. The other person doesn't have to shut the fuck up completely in order for you to say it. And you know that. Because whenever you do want to assert your feelings about something, you find a way to do it, don't you, Randall? You find a way to tell Shanique that she's being childish. You find a way to tell Shanique that if she wants to be a wife, she has to start acting a certain way in order for her to be deserving of that from you. And you have a certain criteria. You had all the time and space to say that. And it just makes me feel like you don't really want to communicate your feelings. So it's easier to blame whoever you're with for why you're not communicating. You know what I'm saying? That's what Harry did on Love After Lockup. Yep, he did that too. When him and Indy were having that last conversation together, and and he was like, "But you're not letting me talk." And he did that with the mom. He did that with the mom too. You interrupted me. You're not letting me talk. Well, when you were allowed to speak, you were saying shit that in fact was bullshit. It didn't have any real facts. It's just you throwing things out there so you don't have to be held accountable for what the person is trying to hold you accountable for. You know, it's really easy to pinpoint, but y'all act like y'all doing some mental gymnastics or some shit. Anyway, Zay points out that Ray doesn't ever really give detail. She doesn't ever really open up. And she says that he will see over the next 3 weeks with them together that she has learned how to communicate. He says, listen, if she's found her happiness with Jake, it's not his job to stop her. And I'm like, that's bullshit. I don't believe that for a second. Nothing about the way y'all communicate tells me that you would say that and genuinely mean that. And he talks about him and Shanique. He said Shanique was super caring, okay, as a wife. And he says that the biggest thing is communication. Like, Shanique can actually communicate in a way that Ray cannot, because Shanique is not like, afraid of anything. Like, so she'll just say whatever she feels. The only thing she may be afraid of is losing a person. And because she's not really invested with Zay, she had no reason to not say things except for his response. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Bonnie. It's called self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'm because I've heard something called self-fulfilling prophecy, where you say something about yourself, and eventually you fulfill that prophecy that you set for yourself, and then in some way you try to act like it was something external, even though you spoke it into existence in order for it to happen. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Hello? Okay, sorry, y'all. My neighbor is getting her grass cut again. And so I told my husband he needed to go and get them people information because he don't have the time to cut the grass. Like his schedule just does not permit. So I want for him to get these people information so we can find out how much they charge because they come and get that shit done very quickly. But yeah, anyway, sorry, y'all. Let's go ahead and like up the video and we'll get back into the commentary. So Shanique says that y'all get me? Shanique says that Zay is a great guy and that whenever he is ready to get married, he'll be a great partner. That's how she feels. And I just kind of feel like, will he be a great partner, or is that a testament to him giving out really good dick? One is it? I'm just saying. Y'all see how I'm being blown out by the window, girl. Look, I'm being blown out by the window, girl, and I hated it, but whatever. Let's go ahead and continue on. So Madeline says that Randall made her feel heard. And if they were to get married, then he would be a great husband and a great father. You know what was weird to me is that it feels as if most of everything that everybody was saying during these moments, it was to make their other person feel a way. I don't know why, but it felt like there was no genuine critique. It felt like if they got to know each other, if they liked each other, it was probably coming from a space of trying to make the other partner jealous or trying to make the other partner feel bad for putting them through the ultimatum in the first place. Like, how much did we need to hear from Jake that he didn't want to be a part of this process? You still signed up to do it. So telling us a million times that you didn't want to do it doesn't matter because now you've decided to do it. So why are you still communicating that to us? Because you want somebody to feel sorry for you, because you don't want to have to be accountable and responsible for your own actions within the situation. Like, it's really stupid to me. But anyway, like I said, Madeline is talking about how perfect Randall is. And then she says that if Randall were to marry her, he would be a great husband and a great father, as if he could not be that to Shanique because Shanique is a part of the problem. And I'm just like, Madeline, I really wish you would get over your like racism shit. Like, I'm the preference, and so I want to make the black girl feel bad, like she couldn't possibly meet the standards, you know what I'm saying, of the man, and I'm the one, okay? I'm the one that would make him the best version of himself. Like, it's definitely a white woman's, idea, white women who want to date black men and they want to nanny boo boo black women, like, oh, look, I got your man, I can do you better than you. Like, it's weird. Why are you competing with us in this way? Like, it's just weird. And I feel like Madeline was definitely giving that energy towards Shanique the entire time. And Shanique had to constantly be in a space of, I have to control myself, because if I am to get how I want to get with her, then everybody's going to look at me as the ghetto black girl. She already knew that he was going to look at her like the ghetto black, like, I mean, not, well, Randall, yes, because I feel like Randall low-key was trying to say that without saying it on television, that his main issue with Shanique is that he could not communicate with her. And yes, she's very immature, and she gets to a point where she's no longer listening, but I still feel like it was coming from this space of, I can validate what people say about black women with Shanique. I can use Shanique and say that black women are difficult and it's hard to communicate with them. Like, y'all were using tropes with Shanique in order to not have to take accountability. Randall, you did it. And then Madeline, in fact, did the same thing to Shanique, where they use stereotypes in order to make Shanique responsible for how they don't want to communicate what the truth of the matter is. Okay. Madeline, the truth of the matter is as a Caucasian woman, you wanted a black man because you fetishized him. You thought he was going to be so good in bed. Your friends thought the same thing. He hadn't even spoken two sentences really to you and your friends, and y'all automatically assumed that he was going to be a memorable lover. It's because it's white women. Y'all were so excited for y'all friends to get some black dick because that is a fetish. That's a fetish. That's exciting for you. It makes you feel cool. That's how y'all see black men, right? So you're then going to make yourself opposition to Shanique so that you can feel like you're the shit. It doesn't, it's not enough that you have Colby who is asking you to marry him. He's one of the only guys on the show asking you for an ultimatum. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like she just wanted Randall to be 100% for her so that she could feel like she was a superior female, because Shanique is gorgeous. Shanique is effortlessly gorgeous. She's classy. Like, she just has the energy about herself that is to be envied by some women, specifically by women that feel like their whiteness should give them that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Madeline really was envious of Shanique in the way Shanique presented herself and the fact that she had the fetish on her arm. I'm sorry, yes, it was what I was feeling from Madeline the entire time. It was like she was trying to hurt Shanique's feelings, and Shanique would just have to sit there and be stoned while she says these things to her, like, about how, Randall is perfect for her and all of this shit. Like, they had several conversations. You know what I'm saying? I like the conversation between Zay and Shanique. Basically, when they were, saying how wonderful each other is, that part of it, let me know. Shanique says this is hard, but she's at peace with however this happens. Okay, because Shanique pointed out to everyone at the table that Madeline spoke about how perfect Randall was, and he's a great guy, but there are things that he needs to work on. And Madeline says, yes, I did feel like he needs to show more, and he needs to give more of himself to the person that he's with. And it's like, yeah, but you would not communicate that on Shanique's behalf. You could only communicate that on your behalf. So in front of Shanique, you didn't say that. You made it seem like Randall was perfect, therefore Shanique must be the problem. That's what you were doing. And that was just really fucked up, because that's not what this process was for. This process was, first of all, so the main couple could decide whether they want to marry each other, but also so that the other couples could be able to validate the issues that that person has in the relationship. Meaning, if you're doing the same thing with me that you do with the person that you just got set up with, that's a problem that you have and not a problem that I have. You see what I'm saying? So when Randall and Madeline get together, and neither one of them are honest about the negatives in the relationship that they noticed, it really defeated the purpose of the whole experiment. It defeated the purpose of the whole exercise that Madeline, Randall, who else? Because it's other people, Jake and Ray, ever expressed out loud the negative things about the other person in the group, therefore not helping the other partner. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like it was a waste of time in essence. Okay. But Shanique says that she's at peace with whatever happens. That's a lie, but play it cool. Colby says that Madeline is strong, and she is strong with her words. And Colby does not believe that Randall can handle the type of words that Madeline will throw at him long term, especially after the way he, acts about Shanique. And everybody sees that Shanique isn't nearly as fucked up as Madeline. So if you can't take Shanique, you really not going to be able to take Madeline. Talking about y'all can see yourselves being together and shit. Child, bye. Okay. Shanique said that Colby needed to reword what he said, as if she didn't like the fact that it seemed as if he was saying that Randall wasn't man enough for Madeline. And so I feel like, because Shanique was like, I think you need to reword that, Colby. I was like, why does he need to reword it? He's saying that there is a meekness about Randall that he cannot handle her fucking mouth, because he can't handle yours, and yours isn't as bad as hers. That is what Colby, I feel like, was saying in that moment. But I wonder if Shanique was jumping on Randall's behalf in that moment. Is that what that felt like to y'all? Because that's what it felt like to me. Either way, Randall says he disagrees with that. He feels like, that's not true. He would be able, to handle it. Colby says, you said you saw a future with Randall. He says that to Madeline and says that that scares him, which of course it would. He's the one that asked her for the ultimatum. Maddie was literally the most basic of basic white girls. I was confused on the competition with Shanique. Alexis was either the pretty girl who got her way or the ugly duckling that became pretty, and that's why she's so mean. It's definitely the ugly duckling that became the pretty girl. She talked about growing up without a lot, growing up poor, and I think she now understands the aesthetic that she has to give as a white woman in order to have the lifestyle that she wants to have. And because she is a white woman, all she has to do is pretty it up, dress the right way, say the right things, give the right feminine energy, and she will find her some dud head rich man, or a soon to be rich white man to take care of her. It is her lot in life as a white woman. I do not begrudge her. Do you, girl? I thought Shanique was taken up for Madeline. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think she felt like they were trying to call Randall a punk, and she wanted to, say, hold up, let's not go there. Exactly, Bondi. He kept making it seem like Madeline was easier than Shanique. It was very clear from day one that Madeline was a lot to deal with, even her husband, and he couldn't handle her. Right, right. Shanique has a beautiful family. I thought her dad was her brother. Did y'all see how young that daddy looked? Yeah. That mama and that daddy must be. I'm out. Listen, girl, tell us about it. Alexis and Madeline both are unattractive. I don't know if I would say that. I feel like, well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I feel like Randall wanted to hurt Shanique. He really used Madeline. You brought me into the process, so don't be mad if it's not going the way you want it. Basically, there was a lot of underlying animosity towards her that I was feeling from Randall. Okay. So Randall, hold up. Okay, yeah. So Ray and Zay talk after everybody met up. Everybody goes back to their original couple, which is pictured here. And Ray and Zay talk, and she asked about this boner that she kept hearing about. And this is how you know that everybody is too young to be getting married, if you ask me. I feel like everybody on the show is too young to be trying to force somebody to marry them. Every single couple, with the exception of Alexis and her dude. And that's because I feel like there is nothing less, they're gonna get married. They're gonna have their boring quintessential Republican life. There's no need for them to wait, because their life isn't going to be anything else than what it is, which is what has been laid out for them as, quintessential white people. Like, it'll just be whatever it is. And that's the same thing. All of the white couples know. The white men, that's why the white men wanted to get married. Okay, you paid attention to that? All of the 100% white men were absolutely ready to get married to their women, because they did not want their women to go away. They didn't want their women to be somebody else's, so they wanted to lock their women down. Okay? And it is because they know that's what they're supposed to do. In order for them to build the lives that they want to build for themselves at this age, they know they need a wife to do that. So that is why all three of the white men married their women. Okay. I think Lauren and O'Boy are still engaged, but I think that's only because of her and not because of him. Alexis old man was gonna marry her because he knew, like, at the end of the day, do you really want to do this all over again? No. And you want to be married, so just go ahead and get this girl what she want. And Colby and Madeline felt like she was the bee's knees out here. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like she was just playing, the position. I'm going to be difficult. I'm going to make sure I get everything I want. I'm going to make sure that you are kissing my feet before I decide to marry you and give you children. Like that's what Madeline, and that's what white women do to their men. I think Alexis had that same mindset, but because it wasn't going that way for her, she was like, I need to give him an ultimatum or I need to find somebody else, because he was not coming at her with the same energy. That's why she was so attracted to Colby, because Colby is giving you that I want to be a husband, but I'm still a cute white boy, frat boy type. Like they have a type and they know what it's supposed to be. So once they get to a certain age, ain't no more playing. Most of these white men, child, they gonna marry these women. They gonna have their kids. They gonna get their businesses. They're gonna do all of the shit. They're gonna build. That's what they do. The black men, on the other hand, you know what I'm saying, or the men that are 25% black, but when I look at them, all I see is black. It's so funny. Jake is 25% black, and it is the strongest percentage of blackness on a white person I've ever seen, because I found it hard to compute him as not black. You know what I mean? Like it is crazy to me. Like, and I talk about compute because it's really about how I perceive the person versus what's actually being there, what's actually there. So obviously, you saw Jake's parents, right? White man, white woman. That woman, now that I saw both of his parents, I was like, his mom must be the person that's biracial of some sort. You know what I'm saying? But Jake absolutely did not give white boy energy. It was just really funny to me that I could not put him in the box with the three other white men on the show. And he absolutely went into the box with Randall and Nate with the way he handled himself and April. It is almost like they use their women in some respect. I don't know what it's about, but it's about, I want you to take care of me while having the pretense that I'm taking care of you. Like, I hate to say it like that, but that's the vibe. Like, why buy her a car if you're really not trying to wife her up? It's because you wanted to keep her in that space of being a wife-like figure to you while you went out and figured out whatever it is that you felt the need to figure out. And you still came on the show because you were still trying to keep April. It wasn't until y'all went through this process and April determined that she could not stay. April had to change in order for her and Jake to break up, not Jake. Yeah, Jake's dad was there. They said now he was like a big guy, big bald white guy. Um, yeah, he says he's 25% black. That means one of his parents is mixed. Okay. But you know how that can sometimes work out. Like African, black blood, whatever is dominant. So a lot of the times the way DNA works, it's not like paint. It's gonna show up either way. You know what I mean? That's why when you look at him, even with white skin and blue eyes, you still kind of don't see him as a white man. His energy, like even like the way he stands, like a lot of his physicality, like all, a lot of things that make you feel like the way Jake gets his hair lined up, like I don't know, like somebody's black. You think that was a stepdad? Okay. And then the dad might probably be a little bit more black. Something, somewhere. Jesus. Okay, that was a stepdad. Okay, so we haven't seen the real dad. Okay, so then that should give you even more so a clue in on the fact that he absolutely has probably had more of the black male experience, which is why he would be in a relationship with somebody like April and still be running from marrying her, even though he's positioning himself in her life as a husband figure. It's the same thing with Zay and Rachel. You wanted, Rachel to be like this wife-like figure to you, but you didn't want to commit to her because you want to be able to be in the clubs and fuck on who you want to fuck with and do what you want to do. And you want her to just get over it and, just be fine with it. And she's not going to be fine with it. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Randall and Shanique up here. And Randall is obviously holding back. And Shanique is trying to create a perfect life. You can tell how, the aesthetically, the way Shanique presents herself. She's someone who sees herself having a certain life. And she also feels like she wants that with a black man. And Randall has a lot of the qualities that a woman that is not trying to go through the Zay situation, like he has the qualities that a no-nonsense black woman would want in a black man. Somebody who is nice looking, they're smart, they're confident, they're not going to dog you out, but also there's a passive aggressiveness towards you. You can't pinpoint it. You don't know where it's coming from, but you know he's holding back in some respect, even though y'all are best friends and y'all share things. You can tell Randall loves Shanique, but I feel like Randall loves Shanique as a friend. He loves her in the way that I feel like a lot of men who are attracted to other men will find women that are their best friends and marry them. And it's kind of as a way to protect him from, first of all, being found out, and also protecting him from having to figure things out alone. Because whenever you have a Black woman as a best friend, a lot of gay men will tell you this, they also mother you in some ways. They mother you in some ways. And I feel like Randall looks at Shanique and sees all of that. But I don't know if he wants it from her in the way that he should. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he loves her and all of that. But I feel like it's easy for him to make her the scapegoat and why he won't be real with himself. Bondi, kick the facts. I didn't zone in on that, but yeah, Jake was in the black box for me. Thank you, Keisha, for the super chat, right? Isn't it crazy? Anyway, y'all, let me keep moving on because I haven't even gotten through all of this. Randall and Shanique talk after. She said that it was very difficult listening to Madeline and Randall talk about how they felt about each other. Randall doesn't want to talk. Randall never wanted to really talk. And that was another thing. Like, you don't want to really express how you're feeling unless you can make it Shanique's fault. Randall also expressed that Shanique needed to make changes while simultaneously shutting the conversation down, which tells me that you don't really want to have a conversation. You just want her to understand where you're coming from, and then that be that. Later, she makes him dinner and tries to have a conversation with him again. And he feels like she acts like her shit don't stink. And I was just like, that is a deflection. What do you mean she acts like her shit don't stink? What does that mean? I've had men say that type of thing about me, and usually I feel like that means I intimidate them in some way. And instead of taking responsibility for where they lack or respecting me for where I'm strong, they want to want to say some shit like, "Oh, she think her shit don't stink." You don't have to be around me if you feel like that. Like, Randall, you don't have to be with Shanique. You don't have to be around Shanique if that's how you feel about her. But to me, it almost seems like you're mad that she has standards that she's trying to, make you, hold you accountable to. And in order to get her to not hold you accountable for those standards, you want to make her feel bad about it and say some shit like, "Oh, you think your shit don't stink," which, i.e., you think too highly of yourself, i.e., you need to lower your expectations. Like, that's what all of that sounds like to me. Hold up. I said that. Okay, wait. I was a paralegal in a family firm for 10 years. I saw this type of dynamic end in divorce many times. If a person is not sexually attracted to you, it will ultimately never work. No, it won't. It really, really won't. It doesn't matter. It won't. Okay. Because you're gonna cheat. You're gonna cheat. It is what it is. Randall tells Shanique she needs to work on her communication skills. Shanique needs to learn how to be an adult about conflict. That's what she needs to learn how to do. But she knows how to express herself. And I even feel like she knows how to listen when somebody is telling her something that makes sense. But when you're trying to make all of y'all issues about her, I do think she gets defensive and then acts out like a child. All right, whatever, nigga. Yeah, all that. Fuck you. Whatever. Throw the relationship in a trash can, nigga. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's how she gets. Jake confronts April about talking to a guy she met in a bar. So I thought that was interesting that Jake and Ray, I don't care what nobody say, Jake and Ray seem to be the couple that seem to be fucking. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Jake and Ray seem like they were having sex throughout this process. Maybe it's just me, but Jake and Ray felt like they were having sex, correct? So I thought it was very funny that after all of the shit that Jake was doing with Ray, the first thing he wants to do with April is argue with her about Madeline's messy ass telling him that April showed her pics of a guy she met in a bar. Okay. And she was talking to this guy that, she met while in a bar. And this is the thing I didn't understand about a lot of them during this process, getting upset at one another for, in fact, being single. I understand that the agreement was for them to date this other person on the show. But if that's not the person that they're attracted to or the person they can really like see themselves talking to, then you're not getting the honest experience of your partner actually being with or around someone that can actually take your spot. Like, that's the point of it. So I don't understand Jake being upset at April. I don't understand Madeline being upset at Colby. I don't understand Zay being upset at Ray. I don't understand it because y'all, in fact, all agreed to not be together. So whatever happened during that time, charge it to the motherfucking game. But making it an argument as soon as y'all get together, stupid as hell to me, and shows that you don't really want to be with the person. To me, every single person that argued when they got back together, to me, that lets you know that they really shouldn't be together. It's been 3 weeks that y'all haven't been around each other. And the first thing y'all do when y'all get back around each other is argue. Colby and Madeline, on the other hand, the first thing they did was get in a bed and make up for lost time. That should let you know that nothing that happened in those 3 weeks altered the way either one of them felt about each other. Sorry. It didn't alter anything. And as soon as they got back into the apartment with each other, they went right back to fucking. Now they have issues in their relationship, yes, but none of the people they were actually with were real contenders to take them out of their relationship, if you ask me. Okay. And Madeline would have fucked Randall if Randall wanted to fuck Madeline. But because I think Randall wasn't trying to do all of that with her, she is now going to make it seem as if Colby did something wrong. I don't think Colby did anything wrong by talking to that girl he met. Because that's what happened. He also met a girl out while, and I think this is what he was talking about when he was trying to blame Zay for why the girl kissed him or whatever. No, Colby, keep it a buck. You was feeling a way about the way Madeline was trying to play you like a soybean burger bitch. Like, any girl could come and have you because she ain't ready for marriage. So you went out there, and because the girl who you really like wasn't in this process, I think they took Lauren out of the process, and that was the only girl that he really liked when Nate decided to propose to Lauren. That took her out of the process. So he then went out into the world and found him somebody to talk to throughout this process. Then when the process was over, he stopped talking to the girl. Madeline found the text messages, all of this shit he talked to her about. She still decided to get upset about it and make it a big deal. Okay. She still decided to bitch a fit and make it seem as if it was, a relationship breaking situation. And I was just kind of like, okay, girl, whatever. The way you was all over Randall, throwing yourself on, you really threw the pussy on him, and he was like, oh, no, thank you, I don't want it. The cameras are right here. So y'all, Rachel comes over to Colby and Madeline's place like a day after they had argued about it, and he had been out all night getting fucked up. And she says that he had been texting old girl the whole 3 weeks, but he did cut it off. He comes in, and Rachel, decides to leave because it's uncomfortable. Okay. And she wants to talk, but he fucked up. He was saying that he wasn't drinking, that he was sick. But either way, she's trying to have this conversation because she feels like, regardless of the fact of how he feels, he should be trying to make her feel better about what happened. And I feel like you're selfish. I feel like if he don't feel good right now, don't get mad. Like, it's already happened. So we're still not having this conversation right now, basically. That's fine. But you were already mad. So don't get re-mad, bitch. Like, just let it be what it is, which eventually she left him alone and told him if he needed anything to tell her, But she kept saying what she said. She feels like he shouldn't have felt comfortable talking to that girl about her. And he feels, girl, please. That's what people do. He feels sick. So he doesn't have the energy for the conversation. She keeps saying that she deserves better. He says she does deserve better. She should go and find better. They meet up with her friends, and then she and her friends gang up on him. She wants to be a victim so bad. Her friend says that he keeps putting her in these situations. It seems like he is brainwashing Madeline. And I'm just kind of like, girl, you and your victim ass friends need to get out of my facial with this shit. I ain't like none of her friends the way they came at him. And I feel like he really handled that situation much better, because I know a whole bunch of black dudes that would have flipped the table on them girls. Like, Okay, Kobe should have just not lied in the first place. She did everything up front. Okay, so what you mean? Oh, you mean when he lied about Zay? Okay. Yeah. No, I absolutely understand feeling a way once you see the person. I do. But I also feel like if you didn't feel a way about their interactions with the other people on the show, then don't feel a way about them talking to somebody outside of the show because it's all the same. I believe that too, especially Ray says she needs to have sex 7 days a week. She was getting it in with Jake. I was wondering if everybody had COVID on the show and didn't know it. That's what I was thinking about because I think Ray was sick too at some point. Madeline made the least sense. Like you felt drained by him, but married him. Like she didn't make any sense. To me, I think she just wanted Colby to prove that he would do any and everything to be with her. I think she needed to feel like he was kissing the bottom of her feet in order for her to marry him. I really do because it wasn't something that she really wanted. So I think that she made him prove that he wanted it that bad, and that convinced her to do it. Ray comes over. Wait, hold on, I said that part. Let me see what else happened. Okay, yeah. Zay is mad at Ray because he found like a little box under the bed with like sex toys and stuff like that in it, and he was getting all upset. And so then they go and meet with Zay's mom and sister, who are Italian. Her dad is from New Orleans, and he is, he black, he Creole, but he black. Zay doesn't feel like Ray was actually being present during the process. She says, I was. It's just that I don't need to overreact and push people the way you do in order to get, my point across. And her mom and sister are trying to help them communicate, not really trying to take sides at all, but trying to get him to understand that the way he communicates with her makes it hard for her to be honest about how she feels, right? But I also feel like because she didn't know how she felt, she didn't want to communicate that all the time to him. Like I think it's not just his fault that you're not saying how you feel, because he gives you the space to say how you feel, and sometimes you still don't, because I think it's something that you would rather keep to yourself. um but I still feel like he is like a child in some ways. I feel like Zay has a hard time communicating. And because he has a hard time communicating, he can get frustrated in arguments. And when he does that, he curses and he just kind of does a lot. And you expect the woman to get over the way you talk to her after you have like this conniption like moment. And it's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So everybody clicks up at a bar. April might be pregnant. She wasn't. Alexis joins the girls on some bachelorette party shit. I'm like, why? Why? Who cares? Alexis is showing off her ring, making all the girls jealous, which is another reason why I didn't understand why we were doing this. They pressure Ray into answering if she can see herself with Jake, and she keeps saying someone like him because she doesn't want to hurt April's feelings. And Alexis says it's bullshit. Alexis wanted to see some fireworks and some mess. She says that's bullshit. If there's something real between you and Jake, you need to say what it is, which I don't disagree with her, but I still felt like because her shit worked out, she was there to kind of poke at everybody else's situation. Because she felt as if she was the only one not being chosen, and now her man has chose her, and she's the only one that got a ring quickly without having to go through this process. So now she's there to hold it over their head because everybody made her feel a way about not being chosen amongst the women. So she's here to make the women feel bad. Shanique sells a straight up, Shanique tells Ray straight up, don't put April's feelings in front of yours. And eventually Alexis kept, telling Ray to say how she felt, kept saying, if you're feeling Randall, like just kept doing that. I mean, if you're feeling Jake, and April was like, look, please fucking stop, cut it out. At this point, y'all are doing too much. It's making me feel away, and just chill out. Alexis won't. So April gets up to leave. Rachel cries and feels bad. And Alexis and Madeline look like they're happy. Agents of chaos. Agents of chaos. Do you hear me? Shanique had a look on her face like, girl, this is messy as shit. You know what I'm saying? When April gets home, she's trying to be affectionate towards Jake, and he doesn't want to be affectionate because he's angry still over her talking to a guy down to the bar. She apologizes for talking to the other guy and says that she was, she's trying to not be reactive. So this is the part where April is showing her growth in the relationship, and Jake is still acting like a child. They go wine tasting at some point, and Colby throws grapes in April's mouth, and Madeline got pissed off about it. It was just funny. Shanique asked hold up, she gives Randall look at Madeline at work on, and Randall says it doesn't matter if she gets upset. What? What? Then she, my notes got messed up. Then she asked, "What the fuck? What are you talking about?" He doesn't want to say. Okay. So Shanique was asking Randall what Madeline needed to work on, and Randall wouldn't say anything that Madeline needed to work on, and vice versa, as if they had made some type of pact to not say anything negative about the other person so that they can make their partners feel bad about giving them an ultimatum. That was low key what it felt like to me. Um Randall says that because Shanique is trying to get him to say something bad about Madeline, he has not seen the growth that she says that she has, he hasn't seen that growth that she says she's grown since she's been, in this situation with Zay for 3 weeks. And she was like, all right, then fuck the ring then. And you could tell she'd be tipsy by the time she gets to this place. But she was like, fuck the ring. And he said she's being childish. And she was. But I also feel like Randall knew what he was doing. I feel like Randall in the moment absolutely knew what Shanique was asking of him, and he was still refusing to give it to her, and in fact still trying to create a problem. I know that she's childish, but I also felt like, why couldn't you say what Madeline needed to work on? And why don't you feel defensive of the way Madeline treats Shanique by using you? Like, this woman, in essence, uses your person to make her, uses your person to make, well, I'm sorry, I'm saying it fucked up. Madeline uses Randall to make Shanique feel bad, and that's supposed to be your person. So why are you allowing this woman who you just met to hurt Shanique if Shanique is what she's supposed to be to you? So for me, even though I see Shanique, being childish, I also felt like, Randall, why aren't you trying to protect Shanique even a little bit in this situation? Because Madeline was doing a lot. I don't think there was anybody else in this process that treated the other woman so badly. And I feel like Madeline treated Shanique like shit, like actively trying to hurt her. And Randall never once, I feel like, tried to protect Shanique. And I think Shanique went through this process being pissed off and hurt a lot, and then having to control herself, because as a Black woman, you aren't allowed to show the anger that you feel. You can only cry and show tears and then disengage, because if you don't, then you'll be looked at as the angry Black woman, and she knows that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why she made a point to present herself in a certain way, especially amongst all these white women. So they go to visit Shanique's people, her and Randall, and they ask about their experience. And Randall talks about how he had a good experience. It wasn't sexual, but it was emotional. Randall admits that he uses money as a crutch in the conversation about getting married to Shanique. I told y'all that's an excuse that men use. It's not really about the fact that they don't have money or they don't feel ready. It's the fact that they just don't feel ready, period. And instead of saying that, because they want you to still be in a position of wife to them. So in order to keep you being a wife but not really marrying you, they have to kind of prolong the situation. Okay, so it's like, it's something I'm working on. So you have to stay in the position that you're in right now until I fix it, because I'm working on it. You know what I mean? And essentially, it's a way to stall. It's a way to stall until you figure it out. And then when you can't stall anymore, you're gonna have to make a decision. And I feel like Shanique is gonna end up getting her feelings hurt. Um, he says that he couldn't express how he felt at first, and now he can express what he needs from Shanique. She says that she wants to get engaged and then work on the things that they need to work on in their relationship. And I want for Shanique to go to therapy and figure out why marriage is so important to her. What is she trying to obtain through marriage? Because if your relationship has that many issues, it's not something that you can really work on. It's not something that you can really work on while it's happening. Once you get married, any issues you have are gonna get worse. Like, that's just the way it is. It's gonna get worse, because y'all are going to feel more responsible for each other. That's a lot of pressure. And then on top of that, um, you'll now be in a situation that's not that easy to get out of. And that brings its own set of anxieties, especially if it's not something that you really wanted to begin with. So that's why I feel like nobody on this show should really be getting married like that, because anytime you don't really want to get married, like getting married is not a good idea. It is a very hard thing. And you really have to want to be with that person in that way in order to fight for it, because otherwise it's a waste of your time and your money. And I feel like Shanique as a woman needs to be worried about other things for herself. I know she's already accomplished and shit, but I feel like her life needs to be about more than being Randall's wife, because if it was, then she would be paying attention to the fact that he isn't as into her as she is into him. And that's what I saw this entire show. I'm sorry. There wasn't really one moment when I felt like Randall was into Shanique as much as Shanique was into Randall. And I don't feel like any woman should marry a man who is not as into her as she is into him. That's just not a good idea. Um, oh, Shanique and Randall are cute. Check their eggs. Randall just wanted a free pass. Here's the thing. Instagram is what you want me to see. A reality show is out of your control. So I'm going to trust my assessment of their relationship based on the show, because Instagram is about what they want us to see. And everybody looks cute on Instagram. Everybody looks like they like each other in pictures. But when they actually are put in situations with one another, it always, to me, felt like Randall wasn't as into Shanique as she is into him. And I just don't think that that is anything that she should be trying to push if that's the situation. Um, Zay says that he's ready to marry Ray. And she says that now she isn't ready to marry him. He wants to know why she isn't ready, and she isn't saying anything. He tells her that he really wants this, and she says that she needs to take a shower and take some medicine because she isn't feeling good. So Ray gave him the ultimatum. Now he's saying he does want to marry her, and now she doesn't know what she wants anymore. Okay, that's because you want something. Y'all, a lot of times women think that because something is missing, they need to get married and have children, and then the something that was missing will appear. No, that's not how any of this works. Find out what's missing first, because it's not marriage. I promise you it's not. If you already have the person that you want to marry, marriage is just like okay, so we should go ahead and do that because we're not finna go anywhere. We're not gonna break up. We want to do all of the married stuff. So I guess we should just go ahead and make it official legally, because that's already where we are, versus trying to make somebody become what you want them to become after marrying them. That's not a real thing. So people that want marriage to fill a hole, no. Stop thinking it's going to do that, cuz no. I think Netflix does a terrible job at editing their reality shows. However, you get a glimpse of reality here. And I think Randall wants to love Shanique, but he doesn't. I'm telling y'all, I could tell he loves her. You could see it, but it's not the love that Shanique wants or deserves. I almost felt like even when she was with Zay, there was more of a sexual, situation going on. He was more flirtatious with her, even the way she looked at him. And Shanique fucks Zay. Like, I don't care, we know they fuck. Like that last hug that they did on the last day, let me know they fuck. Um, so I really do feel like she feels emotionally safe with Randall, which is why she will still choose to be with him, because she's smart. But at the end of the day, he isn't into her in the way that he should be for somebody that she wants to get married to, if you ask me. Um hold on. Kobe and Madeline have a conversation about whether he sees her for who she is. She feels like he doesn't love her for her. He says that she's very critical, and she admits that she is. He asks if that is because of her family and her upbringing, and she agrees that it probably is because of her upbringing, and that makes her feel like he does see her. But at the same time, it's still going to turn into an argument at some point between the two of them, because Madeline is fucking exhausting. Zay is mad that Ray hasn't said what she wants to be with him. So he stays out until 8:00 in the morning getting drunk. And when he came home, she was packing her shit to leave. So when she tries to leave, he grabs her, pulls her into the room, and she's screaming for him to let her go. And then eventually she punched him. So I feel like they need to break up because they need to go to therapy to deal with how he can't control himself. Like, if that girl wanted to leave, you need not grab that girl's arm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need not grab that girl's arm and pull her into the room because you don't want her to leave. No. No, no, y'all are gonna learn that when women want to leave, let them leave. When men want to leave, let them leave. Please stop trying to stop people from leaving. Let them go. And if they come back, great. If not, then I guess it was time for them to go. Sometimes the Lord is trying to take apart things that you're trying to keep together, and you don't need to, girl. You don't need to. Let them go. Okay. Jake apologizes to April for not hearing her when they talked about the dude and all of that. He apologizes for being an asshole, blah 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 blah. I believe Shanique is one of those people that have their life planned out. Yes, it's more about status than it is about Randall. She wants to be married with kids and successful on paper by a certain age. Yes, yes, exactly. That's why I gave her the Michaela. I said that she reminded me of Michaela from How to Get Away with Murder, because remember, Michaela was with a guy at the beginning and he was gay, and she just really wanted to be married and everything. It wasn't until she found out that he was gay that she decided to not marry him. Y'all remember that? But anyway, moving on. So Zay comes home wanting Ray to accept what he did. And this is what I'm talking about. You can stay out till 8 o'clock in the morning, come home drunk, grab me and pull me into a room. And then when you finally calm down and want to apologize, I need to just accept it and get over how I was feeling because now you've come to your senses. That is a very selfish way of thinking about conflict. You cannot do whatever you want to do to somebody, and then when they are not open to your apology or open to acting as if what happened did not happen, then you get mad all over again. No. So he tells her that he's really been trying. And I'm like, so staying out at 8 o'clock and till 8 o'clock in the morning because she couldn't communicate what she really felt to you. So you doing something immature, was you really trying? That was him really trying. Child, go on away with me. You trying would have been you trying to have a conversation with her. And then if she wasn't ready to talk, then moving on about your day without disrespecting her. Because see, the fact that she didn't want to talk to you meant to you that you can now do whatever you want to do, which is really what you want to do in the first place. Go out all night, get drunk, go fuck on somebody to make you feel better about the fact that she isn't giving you what you want. So you feel insecure. You feel like you're not being chosen because she's not telling you that she wants to be with you right now in this moment. But when she was telling you that's what you wanted, that's what she wanted, that's not what you wanted. Isn't that funny? So I guess you're just going to have to deal with it then. Okay. He keeps asking her to stay, but she says, no, this is over. I'm done with it. She says this has turned into something completely different than what it started out as, meaning that they've never been in a situation where she needed to hit him. She says, we're not those people, so I don't want to be together anymore. Okay. So she's out in the hallway crying and shit. And he gets on the elevator and he's like, I love you. And then he get on the elevator and he leave. And I'm like, you niggas are so dramatic. He can't believe that she was just willing to let it all go. And that's another thing, like the entitlement, the audaciousness of you to cheat on that girl, disrespect her, try to hold her in a room against her will. And then when she says she's had enough of all of this, now you want to tell her that you can't believe that she let it all go. Like, I can't believe you let all of the things that I was doing to you get to you. I can't believe you let it get to you. What was what was going on with you? Like, get the fuck out of here with that. Zay absolutely reminds me of Zeke from Power. Ain't no hoe in my blood. Ain't no hoe in my blood. He absolutely reminds Auntie. He is giving you Auntie Zeke vibes. Absolutely. Two nose rings, child, two different nose rings at that. It's giving Zeke. After Zay leaves Ray, he goes and hangs out with Shanique. And y'all know Shanique just finished arguing with Randall. So they meet up and they end up talking about what's going on with Ray. And Shanique actually took up for Ray in the argument. And he feels like she belittled him when he started talking about what he went through in his childhood. But she was basically saying you're using what you went through in your childhood as an excuse for you to treat Ray however you want to treat her. Like, here's the thing. You can have all of the reasons for why you do something. And that doesn't mean that people have to care. Ray does not have to care that you don't know how to deal with conflict with her because your people didn't love you the way they were supposed to love you when you was a child. Like, that's not her problem at this point in life. That's not her problem. That's not her cross to bear. That's your cross to bear. So ultimately, whatever you went through in your childhood is of no consequence. And he didn't like the fact that Shanique was keeping it a buck with him about that. And then he got upset. I was just like, I guess you got to realize you grown. If you go to two different women and both of them are saying the same thing to you, that you are audacious and you have a lot of entitlement to feel like a woman just has to deal with however you choose to treat her at any given moment. Madeline talks to her mom about Colby. And her mom says that the first two times she met Colby, he worshiped her, it seemed like. And then after that, he would barely say anything. And Madeline says that Colby comes with a lot of bullshit. He's a good guy, but he can definitely come off with a lot of bullshit. And I was like, girl, you say all of these things about this man. You basically saying that he's fake, all for you to turn around and marry him and have a baby with him. I'm just very confused by Colby and Madeline. Like, it just seems like an abusive relationship that he's proud to be in. And so we're going to let him do it. Um, she talked about that, Randall was perfect, but he doesn't put forth as much effort as Colby, and she realized that. And I feel like you realized that a long time ago, but you needed to make Shanique feel like she was the problem in the relationship when you knew good and goddamn well that Randall had his own set of issues. And if you would have kept it a buck about that at any point, Randall probably could have been held responsible for the way he needs to act in his relationship with Shanique. It was all about how Shanique needed to change and not about how Randall needed to change. And so thank you, Madeline, for making that observation, but never communicating that to anyone that it mattered to. Like, thank you for that, because you wanted Shanique to look bad. We appreciate you being petty. Like, get a life. Anyway, because I'm saying, like, this was about you and your man, and you really sought to make the other women feel bad because you're insecure as a woman. Like, there's something wrong with you on the inside, where you are in this process where you should be trying to figure shit out with your dude. But instead, one of the main focuses that Madeline had on this show was to make the other women feel bad. It's very weird. After she finished talking shit about Colby, she basically said no one has ever made her feel the way he makes her feel, which means no one has stayed with her and loved her dirty draws like him. Even though she's been mean and she's been cruel to him, he has still been there and still shown up for the abuse every day. And so that means he is deserving of being her husband, because he can deal with the abuse that she gives. Ray meets, y'all, when they say that white women and black men are a lot alike, if they listen, if that ain't a similarity, that's a similarity out the ass. Okay. Ray meets with Jake. She's crying. She's single, so she wants to know what's going on with him in April. He says he wants someone like her as a partner, even though he's trying to work things out with April. So it's a very confusing space for him to be in. Chop, please. I think that Jake wants to be single. Jake just got out of the military. Jake wants to get out into the world and slang that dick around and, soy his royal oats, so to speak. And I feel like maybe he would eventually have gotten back to April, but I feel like April is not the type of woman that you're going to put on the back burner and she's going to wait for you, and she shouldn't be. I just feel like they grew apart, and he wants to be free. He wants to be single, and she wants to be tied down. They want different things at this point. And him not choosing April and then trying to make it about April's issues instead of just making it about him wanting to be single was annoying to me. Shanique and Randall go to dinner and have a conversation once again about what they need to happen, and how she wants to know more about what happened between Randall and Madeline, because it was so uncomfortable the way they would act around each other and the things that they would say. She feels like he's not 100% communicating what was going on. The conversation gets to physical connections, and he's surprised that Zay didn't get tired of her. She says, no, he didn't get tired of me, which to me lets me know they had sex. She feels like Zay helped her see her own mistakes. She wants to be with Randall and she wants to know if he's genuinely ready to make a decision one way or another. He says that you're never 100% ready because you don't know what's going to happen, even if you do get engaged. It's a big decision that he needs to make, and he can't be influenced by anybody else because it's his life. And I agreed with him about that. He was 100% right. He says that he's not thinking about anybody else's feelings. He's going to do what's best for him. She throws it out there that she could just leave, just like, just like Rachel did. Rachel left Zay and she could leave him. So here's the thing. Did y'all notice that he didn't have any response to her having sex with Zay? Randall didn't seem to have any real response to Zay fucking his girl. He never seemed to be jealous. He never seemed to be worried. It never seemed to even be a thought that Shanique and Zay will fuck, and that, the dick game might be something to be worried about. Right, Bonnie. Madeline's feelings changed with the snap of a finger after being negative and disliking Kobe all that time. Right. It's just very, girl, listen, she just wanted somebody who would kiss her feet, basically. Um, Madeline and Colby have their last night together, and she can't wait to tell him that she wants to marry him. And they still end up arguing about the girl he used during the process to make it real, so to speak. So Colby was basically saying that the reason why he was with old girl that he was seeing throughout this process was because he wanted to make it real for Madeline. He needed to make it real. So he needed to be with somebody that he actually could see himself being with, the way he saw himself being with Lauren. He didn't see himself being with April, but he ended up having to be with April because Nate and Lauren, ended up backing out of the process. So, I understood what Colby was saying, y'all. And I feel like Madeline was just trying to have an argument because, girl, I understand what you mean. You feel like he's not taking accountability for his actions. Like, you wanted to mess around, then just say you wanted to mess around. Don't try to say you messed around for me. But in essence, that is exactly what he did. That is exactly what Colby did. Colby found a woman that he could actually be attracted to so that he could actually make you feel the loss of him, because he knew if he was just with somebody that he didn't really care about, you wouldn't really care. You would feel like, oh, he'll still be there when I get back. And I really do feel like that's why she wasn't worrying about him, because she knew that he wasn't really feeling April like that. But see, the girl he was talking to that he met in the bar, that was somebody he was actually really feeling. And I think that's probably why she decided to marry him, because there was a possibility for him to disappear on her ass. So essentially, Colby was saying the thing, but I feel like it just came off like he was blaming Madeline for his decision to be outside of their relationship. But like I said, this is what y'all decided to do when y'all came on the show. And trying to dictate person only met around one other person is just stupid to me. It's just stupid. Um, but she ended up walking away from him. It comes out he went to the girl's hotel room at 4 a.m. Girl, listen, he probably fucked her. Oh well. Jake is another drip. What two drips gonna do together? Boring. April is not for him either, but there's other people in the world. Okay, the moment Jake got back with April, he knew he wanted Ray, and why they had so many fights. Yeah, because he knew he didn't really want to be with her. He found out late. Who found what out later? Yeah, Randall was not upset. He said it's because Shanique told him early on. Yeah, okay. Randall said he didn't find out about Shanique's was they until after they left the show. Are they still together? I think the words Colby chose made it seem like he was blaming her. Right. If a man loves you, the relationship will be over if someone else touches you. No. Jazzy, no, baby, that's not true. Madeline is a nut. Okay. That's what I think that says. I can't believe Madeline took Colby back after he never took accountability. He did eventually take accountability. Colby blames everyone else for his actions. He blames Zay for kissing a girl. He blamed old girl for going outside the experiment. He's a gaslighter. What you mean he blamed old girl for going outside the experiment? When did he do that? But I'm just saying, oh, thank you. When I was on camera, thank you. I'm just saying I understand where Colby was coming from, because it was like you needed me to show you that another bitch would want me in order for you to really want to marry me and be with me. I think is what he was saying. That is definitely why Mad Girl decided to marry Kobe, because it was a possibility that he was going somewhere, period. I'm just saying. It is true. Um, but what y'all need to understand is love is not about ownership. Motherfuckers don't own you. Okay. So if somebody else touches you and they don't love you anymore, they never loved you from the beginning. They could choose to not be with you, but the love shouldn't be going anywhere. Like real nigga shit. You can be mad all you want to, but yeah, nah. That idea is not true, because niggas be taking their women back all the time when they really love them. They be like, oh, it was a mistake. You're not gonna do it no more. I'm gonna be mad for a little while, but we'll get over it. Like dudes get over shit just like women be agreeing to get over shit these days. Please don't get it twisted. Ray and Zay ended up breaking up. Kobe and Madeline ended up breaking up, so to speak. Shanique and Randall, this is like the last day shit. But then we got the ultimatum day when they decide what they're really going to do. April and Jake, she's leaving, says her period came down. Jake doesn't know what he wants. April over. Okay. So ultimatum day. Randall and Shanique get engaged. He says that she's everything he would want in a wife. She loves him in a way that makes him feel good. She's smart, sexy, thoughtful. All of it was about the way she is viewed to him, the way she makes him look good, the way she makes him feel. None of it was about Shanique. Randall is engaged to Shanique because he thinks it's the right thing to do and because he does love her, but something's missing, and he knows that something is missing. You can just tell. Jake is still not ready for marriage. April leaves, and child, April looked good. Them titties wasn't moving, but she looked good. April leaves and Rachel shows up. Jake has tickets to anywhere in the world. Ray and her little booty cheeks was jiggling all up and down that child, they be watching them walk for a long time. You notice everything. Kobe and Madeline show up. He pours his heart out. She says nothing. She cries. He proposes. She says yes. They get married that day. They got married that day. I think it was because she realized that he could get stole on. I think she realized how many women in that process liked him. I think she thought he was a lame. Especially when she got paired with Randall, the black guy. I think she thought that Kobe was a lame. And I think Kobe kind of is a lame, but Kobe still is the type of guy that a lot of women will find themselves being attracted to, whether he's a lame or not. And I think she had to see that in order for her to value him and decide to marry him. So at the reunion, Madeline and Kobe are pregnant. Alexis is obviously jealous. April got a new man at home, and he's older than her. Ray and Kobe decided not to go on the trip because they didn't want to make everybody feel bad. Then Ray and Zay tried to fix things. Zay says that she didn't go on the trip because they were still having sex. Zay expresses that he needed to hear from Rachel, but what she wanted and how she felt. She said that she's sorry for not expressing herself, and she saw herself and she sees the coldness that he was seeing and that everybody else was seeing. She couldn't give him what he wanted, and Rachel now has a girlfriend, and she talks about how she struggled with her bisexuality for years, but now she's in a relationship with a woman, and I bet you she is much more vocal. I bet you she's much more comfortable. She was even more vocal during the reunion show with him to let him know, you know. Shanique talks about being jealous of Randall's relationship with Madeline, and how even during um her relationship with Zay, she always felt like it was about Randall. Even after her sexual relationship with Zay, she still knew that she wanted to be with Randall. Randall, oh, babe, you're so smart. Thank you. I'm about to be done with this one, so I'm about to go into my next one, and I needed to pick you up. Thank you. Shanique talks. Oh, don't break it. Let me pull this over a little bit. Okay. Don't break them. They new. Shanique talks about. Okay, when I said that, Shanique isn't wearing a ring. So y'all saw that she isn't wearing a ring. I don't know if they engaged. Y'all tell me, but she wasn't wearing a ring. She said they broke up for 6 months, but they're back together now. I feel like they should have stayed broke up. I did not like Shanique's wig during the reunion show either. Randall felt like he looked selfish, and he did. He lost a lot of he lost a lot of people during the pandemic. I think he said he lost like 2 or 3 family members, and Shanique was there for him the whole time, even though they weren't together. And so that made him feel like he wanted to, really be with her. And I'm just kind of like, y'all are still giving friends. I don't know whether y'all felt like it was better for y'all to be together, but me personally, I still feel like I am seeing them as more of friends than people in a relationship. April says that she would have chose Kobe because he says he would have chose April if they could do it all over again. They feel like Nate was the only person that didn't really learn anything from the process. That was shade. Poor Nate. But either way, y'all, if you have not seen this show, that's like my, hour and 25-minute breakdown of the last 5 episodes of the show. So that should let you, the last 4 episodes. What it 4? Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a reunion, which was 10. Okay. It was a good show. And I think that young women in this age group need to be focused on themselves. And if you are in a relationship, your career or whatever you want for yourself needs to be at the forefront of your mind, and not being married just for the sake of being married. Like I don't want that for y'all. And I want y'all to know when people are really in it. Like, the one thing Madeline had over all y'all was that Madeline was not going to marry that man until that man proved that he wanted to be married to her. And I respect that. Even though she's a Karen, I respect the fact that Kobe still, even after she acted like an ass the entire situation, that man still wanted to impregnate her, still wanted to marry her, and still wanted to be with her. And he had to prove that to her before she would have his baby or get married to him. Okay? Whereas you got everybody else on this show begging somebody to marry them. That's not how it should be. So learn something from the fact that Madeline got what everybody wanted out of this situation by acting like she didn't want it. Niggas try to use reverse psychology on women because it works on them. They think it's going to work on you because reverse psychology work on them. Okay? I know, right? So yeah. Y'all may not have liked Madeline, but y'all better learn from her. I'm just saying. There was a lesson. But anyway, y'all, let me go ahead and go because I'm late for Candy and the Gang. So I love y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, come back to Candy and the Gang. Peace out.